All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros College Football Show. Happy Halloween to everyone listening. Hopefully week 10 of the season will bring us more treats than tricks this year. Today we make our picks and predictions for the next slate of games. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and today I'm joined by the biggest Diego Pavia stan on the internet, Terrell Furman Jr. How's it going, man?
Oh, I might not be the biggest. I know some guys that are really into Diego Pavia here, but man, it was too many points. It was way too many points. We knew this. The money line was there. The money line was there. A couple of mistakes, but the money line was there. Boggs, were you nervous? Were you nervous at all?
I was nervous at the very end. I mean, they didn't pull away. They let them hang around the whole game and then made mistakes at the end of the game. It was not as close as the box score, but it shouldn't have been that close in the first place. Vandy is pesky, and they've been winning, and they've been playing great football, and Clark Lee should be proud of the job that he's done there. And Diego Pavia has brought new fire to that team. Vandy's good. They're dangerous.
Absolutely. Great games on the slate for us today. How you feeling about it, Boggs?
I feel pretty good. Not as good as last week, but I do. There's some stuff I like. This first game is not my favorite, but there's others I like in here for sure.
Okay. Thank you to everyone who tunes in each episode. The easiest way to support us is to like this video if you enjoy this type of content. Plus, subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts and listen to us. And before we jump in, I did want to remind everybody about the Betting Pros Discord. Looking to up your game in sports betting? Join our exclusive sports betting Discord community at bettingpros.com/chat. Not only can you connect with expert handicappers who provide free picks for the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, player props, live betting, and more, but now you can also participate in our weekly community picks. You can cast your vote to see how your picks stack up against our experts and track your success. Gentlemen, let's jump into the games here, and starting on Friday night, we have the 15th ranked Boise State Broncos, who remain a 23.5-point home favorite to the San Diego State Aztecs. The Broncos appear to be in the driver's seat of the Mountain West Conference, but their leading wide receiver, Cameron Camper, is questionable for this game. San Diego State, they also have some injuries, including wide receiver Lewis Brown and tight end Jude Wolfe, who are questionable for this one. BP projections think this is a bit too big of a line and are showing some value on the Aztecs and the under. Terrell, I know that you love some underdogs on Friday night. Are you rolling with that mentality here in this one?
Yes, I am. I do. I like the Aztecs in this game. I mean, if you look at the history of this matchup here, the Aztecs have never lost this game by this margin, ever. Like, ever. Even in the great years of Boise State and the bad years of San Diego State, they still have been able to keep this game rather close, and it's really because of that Boise State defense that why I just don't like them this week. They're giving up a lot of passing yards, and I think that if you give this Aztecs offense opportunities to move the ball downfield through the air, they're really going to kill you. So Boise State here giving up 125th in the nation in terms of passing yards per game. Yeah, I'm going to fade that. Give me points. I think that Boise's going to win, but this can be easily a 14-point game.
How do you feel about it, Bogman?
Yeah, remember we said on Monday, I was like, I want this to fall to below 3 touchdowns for me to take the Boise State side. And it didn't. So I'm not going to take their side. What I will do here, look, Terrell's right. San Diego State has won 4 straight against the spread. In their last 4, Boise State is 3-0-1 against the spread. So I'm just going to take a team total here. I think what we know right now is Boise State is going to score points, right? And they haven't been great the last 2 weeks, but this is a good spot to get Ashton Jeanty going after his quote-unquote down game last week when he had 130 yards and the game-winning score, right? So I think let's hand the ball off to him a bunch. Like you said, Camper down potentially in this game as well. So let's run Jeanty a bunch. Let's get him a bunch of touchdowns. And I didn't see an official team total, but like at DK, you can play the totals. And right now, 41.5 is at plus money, plus 105. That's the total I like. Let's get him to 42 with 6 touchdowns. I think they can do that against San Diego State. So over the team total for Boise State, it will be my play in this game.
Okay. And
imagine having the no touchdown bet on Ashton Jeanty last week and you're getting that sweat at the end of the game.
Yeah, not me.
You have to be a sicko to bet that, honestly.
To take no touchdowns for JT?
I mean, it's so much value on it at this point.
Yeah.
This touchdown
But there's a
mark is
reason
like
there's so much value,
4,000.
because it's probably not going to happen, and it didn't.
And before we keep it moving into the Saturday slate, don't forget to join our college football podcast group. You can sync your picks or use the quick pick feature on the BettingPros sports betting app and get a chance to win some free prizes. Elevate your betting strategy today and join the conversation at bettingpros.com/college. Moving into Saturday, it's a top 5 Big Ten showdown in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania, kicking off a noon game with the 4th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes listed as 3.5-point favorites over the 3rd-ranked and undefeated Penn State Nittany Lions. We discussed last week that Ohio State, they lost their starting tackle, Josh Simmons, for the year. Well, the backup, Zen Mikowski, he is also listed as questionable for this one after being carted off the field late last week. Penn State, meanwhile, one of their top pass rushers, Danny Dennis Sutton, he is questionable, as is quarterback Drew Aller. Both game time decisions here. BettingPros projections are showing a slight value on Penn State, but with so many question marks surrounding this game, including why the heck it is being played at noon and not 7:30, can we get invested, Bogman? Is there value somewhere?
I mean, I know, Seth, you just want to sleep in a little bit and not have to get up so early.
I just feel bad for everyone
guys
trying to go into this game. If you've ever tried to get into state college on a Saturday, it is tough. Like, you're going to have to pretty much be leaving right now if you want to make this game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look, I understand. I think just to continue from what we said on Monday, said that for me, it's the under in this game, right? Like, we're either getting Drew Aller at less than 100%, or we're getting his backup. Ohio State couldn't run the ball last week without Josh Simmons against Nebraska, and Penn State's defense way better than Nebraska's, right? We did see some issues with Penn State getting the quarterback against Wisconsin. I don't think, Will Howard will hold on to the ball. They'll try to take those deep shots with those playmakers for Ohio State. So I do think Penn State gets home. There's 2 top 10 defenses right now with the offenses not clicking on all cylinders. I'm going to stick to the under here. That's going to be my play.
Terrell, James Franklin, 1-12 against top 5 teams, and
Oh,
Ryan
I'm glad
Day,
you said it.
2-6 against top 5 teams. Where do we go? Both these guys are not great against the Giants.
I'm so glad it's on the record that you brought it up before I could, because that was the first thing that I was going to ask. Are we dare? I mean, do we dare take James Franklin against a meaningful game? Like, it hasn't been there. It hasn't been there. And so I didn't know Aller was questionable. I mean, is he playing?
He's a game time decision. So he's, to me, again, I think he's either definitely going to be less than 100%, or we get Pribula played decent, replacing him late against Wisconsin. So maybe it's not as big of an impact as I think, but he's got a lot of experience. He's been good this year. That's a tough blow.
Yeah.
I really don't like Will Howard, but I really do not want to back James Franklin in a meaningful game here.
It's understandable.
He's got to break through. He's got to break through, right, Seth?
It's now or never. Like that's what Bogman and I said on Monday. Like, this is the weakest Ohio State team that we've ever seen coming into Happy Valley, at least as far as recent form. The roster is great. That we know the talent is there, but like it's now or never, right?
It's got to be. And they've had issues on the road here. The fact that they didn't destroy that Nebraska team last week, it just really solidified for me that this Ohio State team just actually isn't that good. Like, that was a perfect spot to get up after the bye and beat up on Nebraska. They're saying they're looking ahead to this game, but I don't think this Ohio State team can look ahead past any team right now. So, yeah, I'm going to take Penn State here, but James Franklin giving me some pause here, definitely.
Would you take the plus 150 money line, or are you just taking the points here?
Right.
Okay.
We always sprinkle our dogs on the money line. You will be upset. You will when they win outright. You always have to sprinkle.
Okay. All right. I like to hear it. Hopefully that is the case for all my friends up there in Happy Valley on Saturday. Sticking in the noon slate, we go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where the number 19 Ole Miss Rebels remain a 6.5-point favorite against the Razorbacks. Ole Miss continues to be one of the most banged up teams in the SEC. Most notably, first round projected wide receiver Trey Harris is questionable. Their right tackle, left guard, and RB2 also on the injury report this week. For Arkansas, 3 of their top 4 RBs remain questionable, including leading rusher Jaquindon Jackson. BP projections show some values on the Rebel. Terrell, are you following the data here and taking the Rebs?
What? No. No, Bridge, go get the Hogs. Go get the Hogs right now. We're going dancing because we're about to owe the SEC a lot more money because we are storming the field yet again here. Look, the LSU game, that was the kick in the face. That is the one that woke them up. They came back, had an amazing game against Mississippi State. I trust this offense in Taylor Green, and I just don't trust Ole Miss. Ole Miss was down 14-10 to OU at half. 14-10 to OU, this OU team that can't score at all. 14-10 to OU at half. This is the same OU defense, by the way, that was shutting them down in the first half. Same OU defense that gave up 35 to South Carolina and 34 to Texas the 2 weeks before, and then somehow, some way, allowed Auburn to score 20 points on them? Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I am going to take Arkansas. I am all bought in on Taylor Green and Road Face in this offense, and I think the defense can do enough. Ole Miss struggles on third down. That's going to be their issue this game.
Bogman, are you taking a side?
Road Face? I love that for Pacino.
Yeah.
That's great. Sorry, Seth.
No, are you taking a side here, or do you like a total?
No, I like the total. On Monday, last time we talked, it was 55.5. It's dropped 2 points already.
Yeah.
And what Terrell just said about Ole Miss's offense being miserable recently without Trey Harris. By the way, do you guys know what they are to the under this year? They're 7-1 to the under. Ole Miss.
Wow, that's surprising.
And it's because, this offense is good and they play at a fast pace. So this number is set relatively high every single week, but the defense is the strength of this team for Ole Miss. It has been all year. Even in the game they lost against Kentucky, they had a great game because they didn't have the ball at all. It was like 37 minutes of possession for Kentucky, and they still only put up 20 points and like 355 yards. So Ole Miss's defense, even in that loss against LSU, only let up 23 points in regulation, right?
Yeah.
Like they and half of that, or 7 points of that, was the game-tying touchdown in the last second of the game. So this Ole Miss defense has been good all year long. The offense hasn't been good the last couple weeks, specifically to the half against Oklahoma, who has a good defense. But it was just surprising. There's going to be a little rain, it seems like, in this game. And Arkansas, Arkansas put up a lot of points last week against Mississippi State. Taylor Green, I hit the over on my prop on my best bet show on his passing yards. Pretty easy on that one. But against non-Mississippi State SEC opponents, they're averaging 17.5 points. And with Ole Miss's defense being so good, this total's at 53.5, and it is sinking. I don't know if it's going to sink anymore. I was going to say maybe you need to get it quicker, but the money and tickets are on the over, so I'm taking the under pretty confidently in this game.
Okay.
Nice.
Next, we go to Terrell's favorite place in the country, Miami, Florida, where the 5th-ranked Hurricanes are laying 20.5 points on Manny Diaz's Duke Blue Devils. No notable new injuries for either side of this ACC matchup. BP projections think this line is right on par, but they are showing a metric ton of value on the over. What say you, Bogman?
Yeah, for me, I'm actually going to take a side in this game, and it ain't going to be Duke. It's
What?
not going to be. I'm not taking Duke, bro.
What?
Duke gave up they were +6 in turnovers against SMU, and they still lost last week. +6. You're not going to get that against Miami. Miami's at home. Miami is going to put up points. Their defense has been playing bad. They've been playing close games against the ACC, but Duke has nothing on offense right now. Their offense is pathetic. I'm laying the points, and I'm taking the Canes. I just cannot trust this Duke offense. It's miserable.
Terrell, you look like you just passed away there for a minute. Are
Where
you all
is-
right?
Oh, I cannot find. Where is my crystal ball stat? We are not laying double digits with crystal ball at home. We do not do this. This is a commandment. What? And then we're talking about Manny Diaz, who got fired from Miami, and
Low
he hated
revenge
how
game.
they
Yeah.
he hated how they did that. And we are I cannot believe you're taking. Have we not seen what Miami's been doing the last few weeks? They were going back and forth with Florida State for a little bit in that game. No way.
But they covered.
No way. We are not. Look, this is what the ACC is going to do. They're going to see Miami get themselves into some doo-doo in this game, and then they're going to make a business decision call, and they're going to get them the money line win. But they're not covering this number. There's no way.
I just don't think Duke scores.
Wow.
Maybe more than 10? I'd be shocked at more than 10, honestly, from Duke. They are miserable right now. Look, Miami is not playing their best football. They aren't, but they will score on anyone. And Duke, again, +6 against SMU and lost that game. So they had a chance to win it at the end, but it would have been a 1-point victory at +6. I think going into that game was some absurd number. They were 1-123 or something like that. Teams since 2000 having 6 or more turnovers in a game, being on the wrong side of that. And SMU was the second team to win with a -6 turnover margin in a game. So that is the level of offense that we've been getting from Duke this year. Is they were given 6 extra chances and they still couldn't win that game. You're not going to get that against Miami. I mean, Cam Ward's not going to turn the ball over that many times. So you could be right, Terrell. It's a big line. I understand, the trends say don't play, but this year I do not trust Malik Murphy, which I thought I was going to love Malik Murphy at Duke. Backed up Quinn Ewers last year, was a pretty good fill-in for him when he was gone. But Manny Diaz and that offense have been pathetic. I can't back him.
Okay, let's go ahead.
5-13-1 as a double-digit home favorite in his career.
Going to be 6-13-1.
We're backing. Wow. Okay. All right.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not supremely confident. It's a huge line, but I'm supremely confident that I can't take Duke.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm placing a bet on Duke. Oh my gosh. I'm just what? No, this Miami team they've been fraudulent all year. This is clearly a 7-point game. Miami gets some type of call and they get some type of go-ahead touchdown. No way.
All right, the vendetta continues for Terrell. Let's go ahead and kick off the 3:30 slate in Jacksonville, Florida, where I'm sure that Everbank Stadium pool will be in full use on Saturday in this game between the 4-3 Florida Gators and the second-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, who remain 16-point favorites. Georgia has spent most of the season trying to get healthy on the defensive front, and now their only injuries remain RB2 Branson Robinson and also starting linebacker Small Mondon Jr. The Gators are battling some depth issues coming in, but no injuries are more notable than their RB1 Montrell Johnson and their RB2 Trayon Webb. BP projections do think this line is a bit too big, though. Terrell, are you backing DJ Lagway and company against this ferocious Bulldog front?
No, not at all. I think this is my chalk play, 100% chalk play here. Just go Georgia. I think Georgia's going to absolutely dominate this game, and unfortunately, the issue for Georgia, what has been all year, is that they couldn't run the ball. Well, I mean, if you don't have any more incentive to run the ball today, ETN, then I don't know what to tell you. You have the most incentive of the world to just run the football today. And if Georgia can run the football on this team, well, then I don't know what Florida's supposed to do to stop them, because Florida can't stop the pass. They're one of the worst pass defenses in all of college football. They're giving up 13.4 yards per completion. That's 111th in the country. There's only 130-something teams. They constantly give up big plays, and if you give Carson Beck the opportunity to make big plays, he's going to light you up. He's that good of a quarterback on the college ranks. So, yeah, I 100%. I'm all over Georgia. I think Georgia's going to run the score up here.
Bogman, I'm on Georgia as well. Are you making it 3 in a row?
Let's make it a total agreement here. We disagreed on the last game, but this game we are all lockstep here. And I mentioned this on Monday, but I just want to repeat it for people that didn't hear the stat. UGA is 2-5 against the spread, right? Not great, but 4 of those 5 against the spread losses are with spreads over 20 points, and the other one was Alabama. So they're not laying 20 in this game. They're at home. Well, not at home, but Jacksonville, the cocktail party. This is a neutral site game. So, and you know what? Even if they can't run, Florida is not good against the pass. They've only played one good team that passes well, and that was Miami in week 1. They gave up 529 yards and 41 points in that game. So they're a different team now. They're playing better. They had the big win against Kentucky going into the bye here before this game. But Georgia looks like the monster that we thought they were after week 1, after they crushed Clemson, right? They backtracked a little bit.
They're getting healthy now.
They got the offense rolling in the second half against Alabama. They got the defense rolling in Austin against Texas. They are back to that monster team. And while Florida is improving, and I like Lagway more than I like Wirtz, and I think this team is getting better, their defense is still pretty decent, I don't think they can hang with Georgia. So I'm going to take the dogs and lay the points.
Okay.
Also, I just have to throw this in there. Not for the Georgia handicap, because Georgia's fine. Georgia doesn't have to look ahead to anybody. But Lane Kiffin has Georgia on deck. Can we just backtrack to Arkansas and how much we should be making Arkansas a mortal lock here?
I'm all right with it.
I'll take the under. I don't want to side on that one.
I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it. I'm fade Ole Miss the rest of the way here. So I don't.
Offense has not been good.
Yeah. I hope we're all. I'm glad we all agreed on that one. We should all really, really agree on the next one.
Speaking of the next one, Ann Arbor, the top-ranked Oregon Ducks remain 14.5-point favorites over the middling Michigan Wolverines. The Ducks have dealt with their fair share of injuries all season long, but nothing new to report this week. Meanwhile, there have been rumors circulating around the internet that projected top 10 pick cornerback Will Johnson will shut it down to begin preparing for the NFL draft. Sharon Moore came out this week and said that isn't the case. However, his status for Saturday remains in question, and so does his backup, Miles Pollard. So maybe some holes in the Michigan secondary there. Davis Warren is expected to remain under center for the Wolverines. The BP projections think this isn't going to be necessarily a lot of value on either side here. I don't know about that. I feel like there might be some value on Oregon. How do you feel about it, Bogman?
I mean, I am done chasing Michigan.
Thank you.
They're the one that got away, and they're done. And really, it's not even about Michigan in this game. It's about Oregon, and it's not about Oregon's offense. It's about their defense, allowing 9 points in the last 2 weeks. They shut out Purdue, and only 9 they allowed to Illinois last week. Michigan's offense is pathetic. I don't know
worse
if they
than
score
Illinois.
A point.
They're worse than Illinois and Purdue.
Yeah. I mean, they are miserable. They have no identity on offense right now. The defense is really good. Maybe we see Oregon, struggle to score early in this game, but they're going to have the ball so much. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to tire out this good defense, and it's going to be Oregon in a runaway here. Michigan has talent, but most of it's on the defensive side. The offense is a complete and total mess. I thought, okay, we switch this quarterback up. We switch that quarterback up. Maybe we're going to get something. We played musical chairs with every single quarterback, and we're back to the original guy now in Davis Warren. That didn't work. It's not going to work this week either. So give me Oregon. I'm taking the Ducks, laying the points.
Terrell, I know you're on the Ducks and the points as well. Would you even maybe consider an alt line here if you're that confident in Oregon stomping them?
I mean, I wouldn't say that they're going to stomp them, but I think that I don't think the spread is going to be in doubt. Give me a 24-7 type of game where, yeah, maybe they give Oregon fits some point during the game, but at some point they're just going to figure it out. They're a better offense, and this Michigan defense can't hold teams down for long. But this offense is absolutely anemic. There's no way they're scoring. They're not going to – I don't see them putting up points. I think max 14 points is that you're going to get from them. But ultimately, I think at some point, Oregon's just going to be able to break through and score points. So, yeah, I think Oregon, you have to lay the points here. This Michigan team is bad. They're not a good football team.
They're not even close to what they were last year. They're not the same team at all.
Are they even a top 5 team in the Big Ten now?
Probably not.
I don't think they are. It's been
probably not.
Tough sledding over there for sure. Let's go ahead and shift to another Big Ten matchup, though, in East Lansing, Michigan, where the 13th ranked Indiana Hoosiers have moved to 7.5-point favorites against the 4-4 Spartans. IU quarterback Curtis Rourke is making progress, but it's unclear whether it'll be him or Taven Jackson under center. BP projections, they don't care. They think that this should be closer to a 12.5-point line, and I absolutely agree. I hammered this one. The BP community, though, does not. I saw a lot of love for Sparty in the comments in our early line show. Terrell, you have refused to smoke the Signetti pack, at least last week against Washington. Are you lighting it up here against a very middling Michigan State team?
Yeah, I thought that was the letdown. I thought they had a letdown in them, but no. All right, we're back with Signetti. Like this guy's really locked in on the Big Ten, and he's really set on his sights on, hey, we're going to be a force in here. And I think the offense is good either way. I don't think it really matters which quarterback sticks up. And I'm just fading this Michigan State team that I just don't think is very good. Like, the fact that you didn't cover against Michigan just proves that you're not good, because Michigan sucks. So, yeah, I'm out on Michigan State. I know everybody is on Indiana. They were on Indiana last week. It's just they aren't moving the line far enough.
Bogman, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, what did we say last week? We're on the Hoosiers until the wheels fall off, which means we're probably taking them until they play Ohio State, right? And even then, we're
I don't
see
know
what that spread is like.
Right now, we might as well be on Indiana.
We might be taking Indiana at that point. We'll see what they what Ohio State looks like here. But Rourke or Jackson, it doesn't make a difference to me because the strength of Indiana is on the defensive side. I mean, with Rourke in town down last week, Washington coming to town, they had a pick six. They had 2 4th-down stops. They held the Huskies to 3 of 11 on 3rd down. Michigan State is playing strong on defense. They're improving on offense. Aiden Childs is getting better. I'm not going to knock what Michigan State is doing. They are improving as a team here. They were in that game against Michigan, but they held the ball for most of the game and still couldn't put up yards, right? Like, I just don't think they're ready for Indiana quite yet. It's a home game for Michigan State, so maybe there's a little bonus there, but this line just looks way too small for the way that Indiana has been playing. I know this is because the quarterback is probably not, Rourke is probably not going to play again, probably going to get Taven Jackson. He made a couple mistakes, but I just don't care.
He was okay. I liked what he did with his legs.
Yeah, he's fine. He's good enough. He does his part. That's what Signetti's all about. All you got to do is do your part. You don't have to be the hero. You don't have to be the guy that makes the big play. When one guy wins, we all win. Everyone is bought in at Indiana. Everyone was bought into James Madison last year, right? Coach Sig is a hell of a coach. He gets these guys ready. He gets them up to playing games where they're favorites. He gets them up to playing games where they're dogs. It doesn't matter where they're going. Indiana until the wheels fall off.
Everyone was also in that same mentality when he was back with my D2 IUP Crimson Hawks back in the day. So, yeah, shout out Coach Sig.
He wins. Google him. He'll tell you.
Yes, he will.
Hey.
100%. In Ames, Iowa, you can now get the 11th ranked and undefeated Iowa State Cyclones as 13-point favorites. The only notable injury for ISU is that starting tight end Ben Brommer is questionable. Texas Tech, Baron Morton, he's their quarterback. He has been dealing with a shoulder injury. However, the authority, Pete Thamel, reported yesterday he is expected to start on Saturday. BP projections think this line is right where it should be. What do you think about it, Bogman?
Yeah, this one, I said with confidence on Monday, let's go with the over. And then I feel like the second we shut the mics off, they're like, well, Baron Morton did leave with that shoulder, and maybe he's not going to play this week, which I knew he left, but I didn't think it was going to be a long-term thing. So I'm glad that he's expected to play because he does make an enormous difference here. So I'm going to stick to this over. There could be some wind in this game, but there was wind in that Baylor game. They scored 94 combined points, Texas Tech and Baylor. The Red Raiders defense sets the pace of this game. They're miserable. Right? They've been bad all year. In terms of scoring, they are currently 123rd. They're allowing 36 points a game. In terms of yards, 127th of 134.
Wow.
Allowing 465 points per game. If you break it down to, PFF grades and everything, 125th in total defense, 99th in run defense, 127th in coverage, 127th in tackling, 75th in the pass rush, right? This is a terrible defense. They have a very, very good offense that plays at a quick pace. They're spread out. They will score points, Texas Tech, but they also allow a ton of points. And Iowa State, for their defense, they've been good against the pass, which probably gives people some pause. But we talked about this on Monday, Seth. Who have they played in a good passing offense? It really hasn't been any. Arkansas State at 50th is the best passing offense that Iowa State's played. Iowa's 128th. Houston is 126th. Baylor is 61st. WVU 91st. UCF 106th. So with this good passing offense coming in, I think both teams score points. Maybe it plays a little closer, so I don't like a side, but give me the over in this game.
Terrell, I know you are a Rocco Becht fan. Last time we saw him, had to pull off some late game heroics to beat UCF. How do you think he does here in Ames?
Rocco Becht walked out of that game of UCF a beaten up man, but a dub. He walked out 9th in the nation, went on his bye, relaxed, washed off that horrible game, and came back from the bye 11th in the nation. Oh, this team is going to have a chip on their shoulder. I am telling you, they're going to run the score up on this terrible Texas Tech defense. I'm not going to bore you with the numbers because Boggs put it so elegantly. This defense is bad, and Rocco Becht is a bad man. I'm telling you right now, Matt Campbell and this Iowa State team is going to run it up on Texas Tech. This is a bad team, and you have to put bad teams away when you're fighting for a college football playoff spot. 100%. This team is getting up for this game. Give me Iowa State and lay all of the points.
Okay. All right. Well, that would also play to Bogman's over there. So maybe we're all winners here on this one on Saturday. And before we continue, I did want to tell everyone about Fast Break Bets. If you like betting on basketball and if you want more Terrell Furman, then make sure you're checking out the Fast Break Bets podcast, your daily dose of basketball betting in 15 minutes or less. Tune in every day for your rapid fire fix of all things basketball, from the W to the association to college basketball and more. Check out the Fast Break Bets podcast on the BettingPros YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Let's pop the top off the primetime slate in Columbia, South Carolina, where the Gamecocks are now just 2.5-point dogs to the 10th ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Mike Elko is managing some injuries on that offensive line. Both his left guard and right guard are questionable. South Carolina should be at full strength coming off their bye. BP projections think this should probably be closer to a 4-point line. I agree. I liked the money line earlier this week at -160. It dropped to -130. I absolutely hammered it there. Are you coming with me, Terrell?
Oh, Columbia, South Carolina, we partying in 5 points this weekend. Oh, we're going up at 5 points this weekend, 100%. I love it. Look, so when you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Guess who is splitting first-team reps this week? Reed and Wegman. Splitting.
But they're different quarterbacks too, though. You know what I mean?
Splitting first-team reps. They
I'm
both
okay with
need
that.
all of the first-team reps. Both of them. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're going with one, they both need the first-team reps. The fact that they are split on what they want to do with these two quarterbacks, and they're going on the road to Shane Beamer, where Shane Beamer gets up. This offense is going to look great this game. I think they're going to take full advantage of this defense. That was an emotional, very, very set-on win. Did you hear the post-game presser by Mike Elko? And basically calling out LSU. I mean,
I think he was more calling out Jimbo. You talking about that fast coaching line?
Yeah, oh yeah,
that
he definitely threw Jimbo a shot
line?
too.
Yeah,
that was.
It's easy to gain favor at A&M by throwing Jimbo, right?
That was a big win. That was a big win for him. So I think that they're coming down to earth here. I don't think that they're leaving out of South Carolina with the win. This just seems like the game that I know Shane Beamer to get up for and just make that statement at the end of the season, especially in a night game. So I'm rolling with South Carolina. I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think the offense is going to be locked in. They're going to put up a bunch of points here.
I can't do it. Bogman, are you on the South Carolina side as well?
Man, I want to be. I hate the Aggies. I want to be on the South Carolina side. My problem here is I don't I don't think they do have a very good offensive game against A&M. We saw A&M get after Nussmeier and get those 3 picks in the second half. This does feel trappy. This feels like a trappy letdown spot on the road for A&M, so I don't blame Terrell for taking South Carolina at all. They could easily win this game. I don't think this is a walkaway win. This will absolutely not be in my best bets this game. I am not going to take this one because I don't really trust the Aggies. I just don't think this is enough points in this line. I think A&M, they've just been tough to complete passes against. They play good against the run. I think the South Carolina defensive line can keep them in this game because they've had issues passing the ball, but I think you start with Reed because you got it done last week, and if he doesn't work, you go to Weigman and see if that works, right? Like, it's kind of like what we have at Texas. There's 2 guys. You have Ewers and you have Arch. They kind of do different things, but they're both pretty solid. I think maybe that's just the point we're getting to with A&M. The only game they've lost is still to Notre Dame. So, I don't know. I kind of like the Aggies in this spot. I hope I'm wrong. Like, let me be wrong and let South Carolina win. I'm on Terrell's side here, but for my picks, I have to take the Aggies. They just look too good right now.
Do you prefer the spread or do you prefer the money line?
I'll take the spread. I'll lay the points. I think this is a field goal game to maybe a 7 to 10 point.
Okay.
I hope South Carolina keeps it close, but if it goes one way, I think it is towards A&M.
Okay. In Clemson, you can now get the 11th ranked Tigers as 10.5 point favorites against the Louisville Cardinals. The Tigers, they are coming off their bye week, but still dealing with some nagging injuries, including to wide receivers Tyler Brown and Brian Wesco Jr., and their starting left guard Colin Sadler. The Cardinals are at full strength and have played teams tight all season long. The BP projections are showing some value for them to do that once again. Bogman, do you share that same sentiment?
Yeah, I do. Clemson has been outstanding this season, especially since that week 1 loss to Georgia.
Yeah.
But if we take a little bit of a longer look and a deeper look at who they've beat and by how many points, it's not nearly as impressive as the scores have been. It's App State in a down year. NC State has been bad this year. Stanford is terrible. FSU has been bad. Wake has been bad.
Yeah.
And Virginia is hit or miss. Sometimes they play great. Sometimes they play bad. So this resume for Clemson, although they've been beating teams soundly and looking good doing it, this resume is not nearly as impressive as I think we're making it out to be here. So, and they've lost 2 of their last 3 against the spread. So Louisville has lost 3 games. They have 3 losses, but they were to Notre Dame, SMU, Miami, who are better than all of those teams that we just listed off that Clemson has been beating. And none of those losses have been by more than 7 points. So I think that Louisville sticks with Clemson in this game enough to beat this spread. I don't know if they can win this game. I think Clemson is a strong team. I think they're heading towards the playoff right now. We'll see if they make it, but I'm going to take Louisville and the points.
Do you like the Cardinals as well here, Terrell?
No, I'm on Clemson here.
Wow, heel turn.
Dabo's got them rolling. I think Dabo has them rolling. I really, really like Clemson here. This Louisville team is just, I'm tired of betting on them and them not covering. Like, they haven't covered any of the last 5 games. They haven't been good. They should have blown the BC game. BC did everything they could to lose that game. They really should have lost the game to BC as well.
Big comeback, yeah.
They didn't look good against BC. I mean, we talk about bad teams. They didn't look good against BC, and they didn't look good against UVA. And they somehow walked out of both of those games on the road to wins. I don't think that you can go into Death Valley and not look good. You have to be on your A game in Death Valley to keep this close, or it's just going to get ugly. I think it gets really, really ugly on the road for them. 0-3 on the road against the spread this season. I'm taking Clemson at home, laying the points.
Okay. Let's go ahead and keep things moving here to Knoxville, where the 7th-ranked Volunteers have moved to 16-point favorites over the 3-5 Kentucky Wildcats. Mark Stoops' men are dealing with some questionable tags, including their leading rusher, Demi Sumo, and also starting right tackle, Gerald Mincy. Tennessee comes in off the bye, but they still have some injuries to deal with themselves, including wide receiver Squirrel White and left tackle Lance Hurd. BP projections favor the under heavily, but Terrell, I know you aren't afraid to pick a side in every single game, so where are you heading here?
Yeah, give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky. I know it's been bad the past 3 games, and I mean, it started with me taking Vanderbilt as plus 12. 2.5-point dogs against Kentucky, and that was really the catalyst for them to go on this bad run. So I think I need to give Kentucky some good fortune and pick them as a double-digit dog here because I don't think Tennessee should be laying this amount of points at this point. Like, they weren't able to cover this line against Arkansas. They lost that game outright on the road. And then Florida came into town in what could have been an amazing bounce-back spot for them, and they weren't able to cover that line either. And Florida was actually in it to win that game for a long time. So I think the Kentucky defense is actually still really solid, and I think they're going to throw different looks at this Tennessee offense. So yeah, give me Mark Stoops in the game. Keep this close. Maybe not get the win outright on this one. I'll still sprinkle just in case, but I really like the plus 16.5. I think this is a one-score game.
Boggs, how do you feel about it? Are you taking a side, or do you like that under that the projections really like as well?
Man, it's fight night here on the BP show.
Oh, you're on Tennessee. Really?
I'm taking the Vols. And look,
wow.
This is a tough game, right? Again, I don't think I'll have this one of my best bets here. But just the way Kentucky's offense has been trending has been pretty miserable, right? That's my biggest concern here.
Same with the Vols, though. They haven't looked great outside of Samson.
You're right. You're right. And we've seen the bow-ups from Kentucky, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen them play Georgia tough. We see them beat Ole Miss, right? They have those bow-up games, which, again, is why probably not going to be on my best bet show here. But the 3-game losing streak for Kentucky, they lost at home 20-13 to Vandy. They only had 322 yards. 48-20, they lost to Florida. They only had 309 yards. 24-10 versus Auburn. 224 yards in that game. And backup quarterback Gavin Wismet came in and was 3 for 10 with a pick. Vandegrift 9 for 17, 120 yards and a pick. This could be the show-up game, right? As I said for them, but their offense right now is completely inept. And I don't really trust Tennessee's offense, but they are coming off a bye. They're playing Mississippi State next week.
True.
It's not a look-ahead spot. They've had 2 weeks to prepare. This is a later game. They're in those black unis at home. I think the crowd's going to be
that
rocking.
Social media intern. I don't know if you guys. Oh my God!
Amazing.
Is that holy cow? That guy needs a raise. Holy cow!
Yeah. I think the crowd's going to be huge here, and I just don't think Kentucky has anything on offense. So for me, I'm going to take the Vols. I'm going to lay the points here.
Do you guys like that under at all with both these offenses kind of being shaky at best, or do you think 45.5 is just too short?
I just think that Tennessee could get most of it. You know, if they have a game, if Kentucky has a game where they're turning over the ball a lot, especially, on their own side of the field, Tennessee doesn't have to click on all cylinders on offense to put up a bunch of points.
I don't know, man. Even if Tennessee gets the ball on their own side of the field, they might not do anything with it.
They haven't been good, but Kentucky's been bad on offense. Like, I expect 3-and-outs, punts. Kentucky's going to try to play field position here. Maybe that defense can keep them in, but I question it.
We know how Kentucky feels about field position. They're all about it.
Yeah, they are.
Let's go ahead and let's round out the program with a top 25 matchup in the ACC in Dallas, where you can still get the undefeated Pitt Panthers as 7-point favorites. I love Pitt here. However, there are some question marks. Starting left tackle Branson Taylor is now out for the season. He's been a clinic up front here for Pitt. And maybe more importantly, quarterback Eli Holstein is questionable. I think we're hearing rumors that trending towards playing. But they're not alone either. SMU also has the second leading receiver on their team, Jake Bailey, listed as questionable. And their starting tight end, RJ Mayland. He is also out for the season. BP projections say this line is dead on, but they love the over. Do you agree with that, Bogman?
Yeah, I'm just going to take Pitt. I'm going to take Pitt plus the points here. I know this is a late game. There's potential rain. Pitt has not been holding on to the ball. I think they are dead last in time of possession this season. But last week's game, they were already bad coming into last week's game. But last week's game where Kyle McCord threw 5 picks, 3 of them, 4 touchdowns.
Call.
I mean,
who was on Syracuse last week? Jesus Christ!
I know. So for this, I was on the over in that game. So that did not hit either because Pitt didn't have the ball. So, but Pitt's defense has been playing great, like you said. RJ Maryland down for SMU here. I don't know. SMU almost lost that game to Duke last week with their pathetic offense. They ended up winning it because Duke couldn't get the 2-point conversion at the end. They won that game even after turning the ball over 6 times. You're not going to get that break against Pitt. Pitt will take some of those for touchdowns. Their defense, they played that nice low-scoring scrap against Cal, ended up winning. So if I'm getting points with Pitt this year, I think I'm taking it. So I'm going to take Pitt in the points here.
Yeah, I hammered this as well. I also love Desmond Reed in the backfield. This guy's like 5'5", 5'6". He's built like a little muscle hamster, and he's running over people. So give me the team with the best running back, with the better defense in the rain. Terrell, what say you?
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Make it a clean sweep.
Let's
all
go.
over Pitt in this one. I mean, one, Narduzzi made me look foolish last week with Syracuse and absolutely dominating the Syracuse team. But I'm not really big into SMU this year. Like I do think that SMU made the right decision going to Jennings at quarterback, and they look a lot better for it. But I still don't think that they're as good as a team as being advertised, whereas Pitt's been clicking on all cylinders, and they've been constantly finding out ways to win games. Like, they found a way to tough it out and win that Cal game. They created all those turnovers against Syracuse. These are really big games in SEC, and I think Pitt has something to say. I like Narduzzi as a dog. Give me Narduzzi catching these points.
Let's go. Let's go. I am so pumped for this slate of games, boys. This is one of my favorite slates of the entire weekend. Not just because all eyes are on Penn State, but I think it's just some really great betting opportunities that we touched on today. That'll do it for us on the Betting Pros College Football Show. Bogman, he'll be back later in the week with some best bets and some player props. Until then, make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel and the podcast feed. Plus, download the Betting Pros app and sync your sportsbooks today. For Scott Bogman and Terrell Furman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Thanks for watching. Take care, y'all.